All right, and we are now live. Hi, everybody. This is Katie Harris, owner and CEO of Nursepreneurs, and today we have a really, really awesome lineup for you with Randy Lovelace and Rob Doxey, who are going to be talking to us about legal nurse consulting. And I'm really excited about this because it's like the first time I've really seen something that is amazing and it works. And I can't wait to have the guys share it with you. So let me hand it over to you guys, Rob and Randy.
Thank you, Katie. We are very excited about this, and welcome to everyone who's watching. Thank you for joining the Freedom for Nurses webinar, which is being hosted by Nursepreneurs. We're really excited to be working with those guys as well. I'll tell you a little bit about who I am, where I come from. I've been a nurse for 25 years. For the first 10 years, pretty much I travel nursed, just kind of had fun with my wife, who's also a nurse, just traveling the country. After about 10 years, I settled in. Got a couple of degrees, got a bachelor's in management, of course, have my bachelor's in nursing, got my master's in business administration, and started going up the ranks of healthcare leadership. So I was a manager, director, executive director, a chief operating officer. And then I was a national healthcare consultant with a big international company, which basically means I would fly around the country in first class, just helping the executive teams improve their outcomes at various hospitals around the country. And I left all of that to start my legal nurse consulting firm. I've taken 2 courses out there related to legal nurse consulting, and seeing that there really were gaps in that, that's what led me to Catalyst. And as I started becoming more and more successful in my legal nurse consulting firm, we got featured in some different magazines and Yahoo Finance, and I was on an Entrepreneur Magazine podcast and such. People really wanted us to help them be successful in the world of legal nursing. So Catalyst was kind of born organically. It started out as one-on-one coaching and mentoring. It grew very fast from that. And now it's an online platform where we can help a lot more people to really be successful in this field. And that's what brings us to today. Rob, why don't you tell them a little about who you are?
Yeah, so I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 years, and most of that time has been spent doing digital marketing and business growth coaching. I'm, I guess, the odd person out here. I'm actually not a nurse, but I have the experience in terms of business to be able to coach and mentor. Been able to help 6, 7, and 8-figure businesses, as well as also building my own multiple 7-figure business. So excited to help a lot of people on the business side. And Randy and I make a great team. We also have other team members as well to, guide people through being very successful as a legal nurse consultant.
Absolutely. We're lucky to have Rob. He's got a skill set that's very unique, and he knows a lot of stuff that I don't know as a nurse. So it's great to be able to team up with him to run Catalyst.
Absolutely. So what we're going to do is we're going to just go over the agenda for today. We're going to, obviously we just done the welcome. We're going to do a poll a little bit different. What we're going to have you do is if you could just write in the comments wherever you're watching, we want to know, like, how long have you been a nurse and what's your specialty? We'd love to know that. And then also we're going to talk about what is legal nurse consulting, the common myths in legal nursing. And then we're going to actually do a really cool thing that's not really done. We're actually going to go through a case walkthrough to see what it would look like as, a legal nurse consultant working behind the scenes. And then we're also going to go through the Catalyst pathway, which is basically our framework that, shows you how you can start from basically nothing to being very successful as a legal nurse consultant. So we're going to start off by just taking a look at making sure that you're typing in what type of nurse you are and also how long. So we'll be watching that as you type in the comments.
Yeah, so you guys just continue to type in what your specialty area is and how long you've been a nurse. That's going to really come in valuable for me once I get to the kind of case walkthrough section, that workshop portion, because I want you to be able to see, and I want to see all you people, all the nurses from different walks of life, different specialty areas. And what you're going to find is how you're all really good at already reviewing cases and being able to analyze them in a way that can help an attorney. So go ahead, and if you haven't already, just type into the chat what your specialty area is and how long you've been a nurse. And I'm going to go over what legal nurse consulting is. Now, this is going to be a pretty high level look, but I think it's pretty comprehensive. And the number one thing that I would say legal nurse consulting is may actually surprise you. The main thing we do is educate attorneys. Most people don't think of us as needing to educate an attorney. A lot of nurses that we work with, initially, especially until you get into the field and you work with a lot of attorneys, we tend to put them on a pedestal and we're like, who are we to educate an attorney? But the reality is there's so much information from a medical side that we have inside our noggins that a lot of times we don't even use because we're in that specialty area, because we have our check boxes to click at work. Attorneys need all that knowledge and skill that we've built over years of school and usually decades. A lot of people have decades of experience in nursing to help them build stronger cases. So a lot of our time is simply spent educating attorneys. We do that in a number of ways. One of them is through case review. So this is where you're getting records from the hospital, from the doctor's offices, from chiropractics. It all comes through the attorney, and you're analyzing those records and reviewing the case for the attorney. And then you're going to write that report up in a chronological format, and in a comprehensive report that then helps the attorney to win their case or settle for more. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't say that legal nurse consulting is also business ownership, which is awesome. Because being a business owner, I can tell you that stepping out of the 12-hour days or the never-ending days as a healthcare executive, the overtime, the short staffing, the begging off for holidays, the missing my kids' events, that all went away with business ownership. Now I have total freedom. That's why we named it Freedom for Nurses. Flexibility. I work from my home or fully remote, really. I can work from the pool or under the shade tree or on the back patio, and I do all of that. And I have complete control over my own life, my own work life. I get to go to all my kids' events. I don't ever have to beg off for Christmas or Thanksgiving or pick, do I want to be off Christmas Eve or Christmas Day? And I get to design my own lifestyle, which is really, really awesome as a business owner and legal nurse. Rob, have we gotten a number of comments about where our viewers are specializing in and how long they've been nurses?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a wide range. It looks like we've got another group. We do a lot of these workshops, and we got a lot of experience here again. So we've got Tracy, that's 7 years, Abigail, 35 years, health policy, critical care for Olga. We've got Gina at 32 years, labor and delivery. Takira, fertility for 14 years, nurse for 20. Mary, ER and home care nurse for 20 years. Sharetta, cath lab RN, 17 years. Katie, 7 years, neurology. So a lot of experience here today.
Lots. I'm sure the list goes on, and it's great. I love it when we have a big cross-sectional of nurses from different backgrounds, different specialty areas. We've got nurses who have been a lot less years than I have, and we got quite a few that have been a lot more than I have. So 35 years, let's go, rock on. That's so cool. And I love this because having that big variety and who's viewing this and who's going to be participating, which we didn't tell you this, guys, but this is not a just watch and listen to us drone on. We want you to participate. We want you to interact with us. That makes it a lot better. That makes it better for you. You're not just having to listen to us. And it's going to prove to you as we walk through this case study just how much knowledge and ability you have to really leverage your license to change your future. Rob, why don't you walk them through some of the myths? Because I know there are a ton of myths out there, and we certainly don't have time to go through them all, but I think we could probably go through a few.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we talk to so many nurses, and one of the ones that we hear all the time is that you need certification. And this is a myth that simply, if we're just being totally direct, it really is kind of a marketing ploy. It allows people to say, hey, come on in, get the certification and keep paying for it so you can keep that certification. One of the things you need to understand, though, is that in the legal nurse consulting field, there is no governing board. So no one's going to ask for any certification. Attorneys aren't going to ask for a certificate or certification. And it just simply is something you don't need. So we're just going to wipe that myth right away. You do not need a certificate in terms of legal nurse consulting.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Sorry, Rob. That can be really hard for us as nurses to hear, right? Because we love our certifications, right? And certifications are great. But in legal nursing, Rob mentioned there's no regulatory agency over legal nursing. There's no governing board. There's no state or federal statutes. Legal nursing does not have a formal certification. So not only do you not need it, it literally doesn't exist. So in Catalyst, we give you a certificate of achievement when you pass a certain point in Catalyst. But the certification, like Rob said, there's no attorney that's going to ask you about them because they don't even know they exist. Attorneys don't care where you get your training as a legal nurse. They care if you can provide a work product that adds value to their case.
Absolutely. The second myth is that the market is saturated. We hear this one a lot, and it comes from, frankly, kind of a scarcity mindset, which we cover that a lot in terms of business and having the right perspective and mindset. But there's over 1 million attorneys in the United States, and you can actually work in Canada as well. So there's well over 1 million. But then you also have about 30,000 law grad students that come out of law school every year. So in terms of work and not having enough work, it's just simply not true. In fact, I would say that a lot of attorneys aren't even aware of what a legal nurse consultant is. And so there's education going on in terms of, hey, this is how we can help you. But in terms of not having enough work, you'd have plenty of work. If every single person on this webinar times 100 joined and became a legal nurse consultant, there'd still be plenty of work for everyone. In fact, I would say that this industry is great because you don't have to have dozens and dozens of attorneys to be successful. You can have a handful of attorneys that keep feeding you cases over and over, and you can be very, very successful as a legal nurse consultant.
Yeah, absolutely. I've never seen a market that was so not saturated. Rob mentioned it. Most of the time when I talk to attorneys, there have been times that they knew what a behind the scenes legal nurse was, but it's been rare. I could probably count them on both my hands. And I've reached hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of attorneys that I've talked to. And most of the time, they don't even know what we can do for them. They think of us as experts, not behind the scenes. And those are two different things that we go over in Catalyst as well.
Yeah. The third one is you can only practice in the state where you live. Again, there's not a governing board going on in terms of licensing and things like that within, as a nurse, obviously, if you're, in different states, licensing is a lot different, but within this field, you can work anywhere. Like I said, there's, legal nurse consultants that have clients in Canada and all over the United States. So, and that makes it really great for you as a legal nurse consultant, as a business owner, because now you can reach outside in all these different states and you don't have to worry about being confined to one geographical area.
Absolutely. We have Loveless Legal Nurse Consulting, my legal nurse consulting firm. We've got attorneys from California to New York and all places in between.
The last myth that we're going to talk about, and there could be more, but all LNC education is the same. This is absolutely true at all. In fact, one of the things that, as Randy and I partnered up, we wanted to look and see where the gaps are in the education. And part of the reason we wanted to do that is because we want to guide people to actually make money in the real world, not just to have good information, but can that information be applied so that you can actually make money, as I said, in the real world. So you've got colleges that offer legal nurse consulting. You've got several programs out there that will offer it as well. But like I said, we put together a path that's going to be very, very great in terms of what you need to learn. And we're going to go over that later on. But it's a situation where, if you don't know certain elements of legal nurse consulting, it's going to be really difficult to succeed. And you need to actually have practice with certain elements that we're actually going to talk about that a little bit later too, just to kind of put that little carrot out there. We're going to talk about some of those missing things in other programs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, not all education is the same. And we have, we have many clients who have taken other programs. And you will not find Rob and I talking poorly about any other specific program. But the fact is, all of these programs that I know of, besides Catalyst, they give you information. They don't actually teach you how to win in the real world. And that's what we want to do. In fact, that's what our clients do. Before you ever get out of the program, you're already becoming a successful business owner and getting your own clients. So let's walk through our workshop together. I hope you guys are engaged, and I hope that you're ready to type, because I'm going to be asking you for some input as we walk through this together. So this is going to be a very high level case review. I'm going to give you little snippets out of the records. And by the way, this is a real case. Of course, there will be no names, but you guys are going to help review and analyze this case for the attorney. So I hope everyone's ready. All right. So the event description, the first thing you're normally going to get is from EMS, right? The emergency medical services on scene, went to pick up a patient from somewhere for something. We don't know anything about it yet. So we open this record. We see this is a 56-year-old female who has a chief complaint of right shoulder pain. Cause of injury is a fall. Looks like ground level fall. There you go. Mechanism criteria, ground level fall. Medical history, depression, and medications are Zoloft. Pain scale 4 out of 10. And the physical assessment just shows right shoulder pain. So this isn't giving us very much yet. We only know this is a ground level fall with some shoulder pain. And we know that they have a past medical history of depression and their own Zoloft. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of information in the EMS description. So let's look at what happens when they get to the emergency department. So first they see the nurse, right? Chief complaint. Patient fell at a shopping center, slipped in the meat section on meat blood on the floor. Landed on the right side, complains of right upper back, into shoulder pain, and right hip area pain, hit head, no loss of consciousness. Now I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to show you what the physician wrote, and then we're going to pause and talk about this a little bit. So the physician says, complaint of pain in the right shoulder and right hip, as well as a head injury. The patient slipped on a pool of blood that was on the floor in the meat department at a shopping center. Yuck. She hit her head on the metal base of the display. She denies LOC, does not take blood thinning medication, does have a headache, has been able to ambulate with help, but did notice some right hip pain when moving to the gurney. Denies prior treatment, denies numbness or tingling or focal weakness. Pain is worse in the shoulder with movement. She was provided with a sling, which was helpful, denies nausea, vomiting, and dizziness. Okay, now let's pause. You guys are hearing a lot here that you don't realize you're hearing. When an attorney looks at this, his brain is not working the same way ours is. He knows somebody fell in the meat section on blood, and he can see obviously like right upper back pain, shoulder pain, and right hip pain. What he may not even know what LOC means. So in the nurse's note there, hit head, no LOC. What does LOC even stand for? Type that into chat for us. And Rob, if you'll let me know what people are saying.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the time where you want to type in the comments where you're watching.
Type into your comments and we'll be able to see it. What does LOC mean? In this
loss of consciousness is what Sarah says.
That is absolutely correct. And as you guys know, LOC can actually mean a couple of things. It can mean level of consciousness too. But in this context, it means loss of consciousness. The attorney may not know that. Why is that relevant? Why did they say hit head, no loss of consciousness? What's the nurse getting at there? Type that into your comment as well.
Okay, repeat that one more time while they're typing.
Why is it relevant to say no LOC? Hit head, no LOC. Why did she take the time to type that in?
Gina says head injury.
Possible head injury? Yep. Mm-hmm. Anybody else responding?
Concussion?
Possible concussion, absolutely.
Olga says brain injury.
Yep, possible brain injury, absolutely. Let's look at the physician. So you'll see, what is that, like the third sentence, hit her head on the metal base of a display. So we get a little more information here. This was a metal base, right? So we know that could be a pretty hard impact. She denies LOC, there it is again, and does not take blood thinning medication. Why did he mention blood thinning medication? Type that into the comments.
Wait for people to comment here.
Yeah, no worries. Why would the physician think it's important to say denies LOC and does not take blood thinning medication?
Gina says higher risk for head bleed. Olga says worried about hemorrhage. Crystal says bleed potential. Sarah says worried about bleed with anticoagulants.
Anticoagulants, yep. Yeah, you guys are all over it. That's exactly right. And again, you knew that like right away, right? Duh. An attorney doesn't. An attorney doesn't understand what blood thinning medication can do when you hit your head. He also doesn't understand that that could be an immediate onset of symptoms or delayed onset of symptoms. You guys understand that because you're nurses. And then he says she does have a headache. Again, we know why he's saying that. And then he says she can ambulate with help, but notices some right hip pain when moving to the gurney. So if you're looking at that as a nurse, you're probably thinking, I get it, right? Not only does she have hip pain, but at least now I know she can ambulate because she hit her head. She doesn't take blood thinning medication. We don't think she lost consciousness, and she's able to walk. She denies any prior treatment. Now, he says denies numbness or tingling or focal weakness. Why do you put that? Why is that relevant? Type that into the chat or the comment.
Stroke.
Yep, ruling out possible stroke. You guys already mentioned head injuries, head bleeds. So this is going along with the symptomology of ruling out some sort of critical injury, right? And then the last thing, again, denies nausea, vomiting, and dizziness. Same concept, right? So an attorney reads this, he's just going to glaze that. It's not going to mean that much to him. You guys are picking up on all kinds of things that are very important to determining causation of injuries. And that word, causation of injuries, is key in legal nurse consulting because we're trying to determine what injuries, what damages, what diagnoses were directly caused by this slip and fall. So let's look at the physical examination here. He examined the head and he saw a mild contusion to the right parietal scalp. An attorney, he may know contusion is bruise. He probably doesn't know what the parietal scalp is. Neck, mild diffuse tenderness about the posterior midline and the bilateral paravertebral soft tissue. By the way, I want to give you guys permission, if you're not already, if I'm asking a question and you're like, God, Randy, I don't know, Google it. Because guess what? You can use Google. You can look stuff up. As a legal nurse, you're not confined. You're not on a stand as a behind-the-scenes legal nurse being asked, what does diffuse tenderness about the posterior midline of the bilateral paravertebral soft tissue mean? You can Google it if you're not 100% sure what that means. So they've got some tenderness in the midline and the paravertebral soft tissue of the neck, knowing that they have a contusion to the head, to the right parietal scalp, and tenderness, diffuse tenderness to the neck. What are you thinking here? Type that into your comments. What are you thinking you want to rule out?
Neck injury by Olga.
Definitely could be a neck injury, right? Diffuse tenderness about the posterior midline and bilateral paravertebral. So in the middle and on the sides of the neck.
Hematoma, potential spinal cord injury by this Susanna.
Yes.
Crystal. Alex says spinal cord injury or head injury.
That's right. Absolutely. So we know that when that head hit, it hit hard enough to cause a contusion. And we also know that there's tenderness in the neck. Could be a neck injury, could be a head injury, could be both. Physical exam also shows mild to moderate tenderness about the midline and mid-thoracic region, some paravertebral soft tissue tenderness, but no step off. And musculoskeletal, some tenderness about the lateral and anterior aspect of the right hip, mild tenderness about the superior aspect of the right shoulder and the trapezius and posterior shoulder region. No specific bony point tenderness. Range of motion in the shoulder is intact, but does produce mild pain. So now, just from looking at this physical examination, we know it was a pretty hard impact. We've got a contusion on the head, tenderness in the neck, tenderness in the back, and we've got tenderness in the hip and the, was it right shoulder and trapezius area. So we are already putting this whole picture. We can see this happening and see how this lady probably fell to injure herself. And what does everybody want here? We want to see radiological studies, right? We want to see an x-ray. We want to see a CT of the head, CT of the spine, something. All right. All our x-rays were negative. That's good, right? CT of the head, negative. Let's take a look at the CT of the spine. CT of the spine shows a mild disc bulge at CT, C2, C3 with early degenerative changes in C4-5. L5S1 appears to be a large disc extrusion centrally and asymmetric to the left, resulting in severe canal stenosis. L4-5, mild facet atrophy, mild disc protrusion in the left, resulting in left lateral recess narrowing, possibly affecting the traversing left L5 nerve root. What are you seeing now? What are your questions? What are your thoughts? Where's your head going now that you see the CT of the spine?
Yep, type in the comments here. We'll call them out.
Yeah, if you guys are watching, be involved. Take advantage of this thing.
Pre-existing condition.
Yeah, great. Great. Who was that said that, Rob?
It said HP. And then we got Crystal that says spinal cord involvement. Olga says compression injury. Alex says, what is acute? Does she or he have a PMH?
Yeah, past medical history.
Yep. Gina says prior condition, spinal.
Yes. You guys are all over it. You want to know what was existing before, right? This is what, a 56-year-old female? What else could make a difference? Is she 120 pounds? Is she 420 pounds? Does she smoke? Does she have diabetes, high blood pressure? There's all kinds of things in her PMH that can make a huge difference. Not to mention, did she have disc bulges before this accident? You know, she's got degenerative changes in her cervical spine. Degenerative meaning pre-existing, right? Normal aging process. Everybody 56 has some. So that's brilliant. We need to know, as the legal nurse, what was already there. And some of these may have been directly caused by the slip and fall. Some may have been exacerbated, meaning made worse by the slip and fall. They might have been there, but now they're a lot worse because this lady fell. Some of them might even be indirectly caused. And then some might be unrelated. That's where we're analyzing. And you guys are already thinking about it. The attorney probably wouldn't think that way. And then lastly, the MR of the right shoulder, full thickness rotator cuff tear. Here's some associated signs and symptoms. She's getting headaches twice a week now. She's getting intermittent memory loss. She's got numbness down the left leg and pain that increases with weight bearing. Wakes up 3 to 4 times a night. Pain in the neck that increases when turning her head. Unable to pick up more than 10 pounds. Back pain increases when standing for more than 15 minutes or sitting for more than 20 minutes. These are a lot of associated symptoms. So looking at the first two, headaches twice a week and intermittent memory loss. What are you thinking could be causing that? Type that into your comments.
Long-term, Crystal says long-term injury due to fall. Olga says concussion.
Yes.
Gina says concussion.
Yes.
Neurological. Crystal.
Yeah, absolutely. Concussion, long-term injury, because concussion symptoms can last a long time. And that's probably what this is. We don't know for sure. We need more records. We need to do a little more assessment. But those two symptoms certainly point down that path. Numbness down the left leg with pain that increases with weight bearing. What could be causing that? Why would they have left leg? Because remember, they fell on the right side. They have right hip pain. Why would they have numbness down the left leg that increases with weight bearing?
Sciatica, says Crystal.
Possibly. What could that be caused from?
Disc herniation, ITS.
Yeah, remember that excuse me, remember that they had some damage to the lumbar spine, right? I think it was L5S1, L3, L4, some damage to the lumbar spine. And it even said that one of them was possibly causing nerve damage that can absolutely cause numbness down the left leg. And this isn't in the slide in the PowerPoint, but I've seen this before. Real story, true story. This numbness down the left leg happens, right? So then what happens? The patient, or the client, as we call it in legal nursing, starts walking funny, right? They've got an antalgic gait because they don't want to put weight on their left leg because it hurts. So then 3 months later, they come in with a knee effusion on the right side. An attorney would never know that that knee effusion was indirectly caused by the lumbar issues that caused the left leg tingling and weakness. So those are the places where we as nurses can come in and really beef up a case that with a lot of things the attorney would have missed. So I'm going to ask you guys, this is easy. Type Y or N. Y for yes, N for no, because we're going to go over some diagnoses. And I want you to tell me, was it directly caused by the accident, or was it not caused by the accident? So Y or N. And if everybody would participate, that'd be awesome. And Rob, just tell me what you're seeing. So The first one, was this caused by the accident? These are diagnoses that were in the chart that we pulled out of the documentation in the records. Mild concussion, caused by the accident, caused by the slip and fall?
I've got Gina, no. Tracy, no. Gina, no. Susanna, yes. Olga, yes. Alex, yes. Sarah, yes.
So we've got some yeses and some no's.
Yep.
So the mild concussion, given that they fell and hit their head, they've got a contusion to their head, they've got neck pain, they've got associated symptoms with memory loss. I'd say this mild concussion, unless there's evidence that something existed prior to the slip and fall and hitting the metal on the case, I'd say the mild concussion was caused by this accident. How about neck pain? Was that caused by the slip and fall?
Just type a yes, wire and
N.
Wire and an N here. Yes. Yes.
Seeing some yeses?
Yes.
How about lumbar pain?
Yep.
I'm getting some yeses here. I agree with that. Neck pain and lumbar pain were both caused by the slip and fall. Again, apart from any evidence that it existed prior. How about the right shoulder pain? Was that caused by this slip and fall?
And just feel free to keep putting in yes or no,
just
wire and on all of these.
Yeah, we're watching.
I know it sometimes takes a little bit for it to pull through in the comments. We've got yeses coming through on those, on the right shoulder pain.
And then headaches, I'd say yes. Sleep disturbances. What do you guys think about that one? Sleep disturbances and depression. Those two kind of go together in my mind and leave a little more gray. Do you think these were caused by this slip and fall?
Yep, we're getting yeses on those.
Because we know what was her past medical history. Depression. She was on Zoloft. So was depression caused by this? Probably not. It wasn't directly caused, but it was very likely exacerbated. Remember, she can't turn her head. She can't walk. She can't sit. She can't stand. She's losing sleep. She's in pain. She's got numbness and tingling. She's got neck pain, back pain, headaches. Like, if that doesn't increase your depression, nothing will, right? Weakness. I think it's obvious that even if she had weakness before, I'm sure it was exacerbated by this. She's got spinal injuries as well as some other injuries.
We're getting that too, exacerbated on these, and
perfect
pain.
Thank you guys. Keep putting into the chat. Let's talk about the I keep saying CT, C2-3 disc bulge and the L4-L5 disc protrusion and the L5-S1 disc extrusion. So these spinal injuries, do you feel like they might have been caused by the slip and fall?
We've got a couple yeses and a couple no's on that one.
Okay. Those who said no, why would you think they were not? I bet you're going to answer perfectly.
If they answer, we'll see. I bet it would be. Can be age related.
Yes. See, there you go. That's a perfect answer. And that's the way you want to think as a legal nurse. Probably is. Is it age related? Does she have evidence of other sort of degenerative changes? Does she have evidence of any sort of pre-existing damage to her spine? Again, is she a smoker? Is she 400 pounds? All those things can add stress to the spine, and that could hurt the case for the plaintiff on this case. And then the last one, right shoulder rotator cuff tear. So if you think about the way she fell, right, what'd she do? She probably did this, and she most likely, unless that was somehow existed before, it's almost certain that that would have been caused by the slip and fall.
Yep.
How is this going to impact the client's life? Work? Absolutely. Like, what work can she do where she can't sit, can't stand, can't walk, has headaches, can't drive because she can't look over her shoulder? Is she going to be able to pick up her kids or grandkids now? She can't lift more than 10 pounds. Driving, again, you can't look over your shoulder because it hurts to turn your head. We know she has sleep disturbances. Her depression is very likely going to get worse. How's her well-being, her life enjoyment? How's her physical health and her ability to exercise? Like, not only is she injured now, but she can't even do much to get herself in better shape because she's hurting so bad. She's so injured in her spine and her head, her hip, so many injuries. And then there's a number of other things. If we had time, I'd let you guys type in what other ways could this impact the client's life. But you can see how the simple slip and fall really impacted this lady. And you guys just walked through this, saw some high-level records, and you identify, what was that, 12 diagnoses that you're going to hand to the attorney and say these were very likely caused by the slip and fall. You're going to research what kind of past medical history and pre-existing conditions they had, and you're going to associate those to exacerbation if they were exacerbated by the slip and fall. And that's all stuff that the attorney wouldn't be able to do without you. And when you're giving him 12 diagnoses, he might have only known one or two. Guess what that does? It gets the patient, you're telling the story of this injury that the client, the patient, nor the attorney is able to tell. And what does that do? That gets the patient and the attorney the settlement that is deserving, because this lady's life, depending on how this goes in the future, could be dramatically turned for the worse. So good job on that, guys. Good job.
Absolutely. So looking at this from, after the exercise, how confident would you be that if you had the right training and mentorship, you could succeed as a legal nurse? I mean, it's clear based on the answers that you've been given, throughout, that case. And we did go through it pretty quick because we're trying to stay, respectful of time, but you do have that nursing knowledge, right? Just based on the comments that we're seeing that. We're seeing, Sarah says confident. But one of the things that we find is that although you do have the nursing, it is the nursing knowledge. It's really important to have that right path so that you can gain the necessary, not only business knowledge, but, from a legal nurse consultant, like lingo, things like that. You're going to need to be able to have people that have actually done it and had the experience in order to guide you through to make, give yourself a really, really good chance to be successful as a legal nurse consultant.
Absolutely. You guys have the nursing knowledge. You just need the legal nursing knowledge.
Yep.
And, there are in all of our lives, as we think, okay, legal nursing, I can change my future. I can make great money. I can have freedom and flexibility. There's always going to be things that get in our way. There's going to be circumstances that are beyond our control. There's going to be sick kids and deaths in the family and divorces and accidents and bills coming in, a million things to get in the way of where you want to go. But the reality is, unless we change something, we're going to be in the same spot. And that something might not be Catalyst. That something might not even be legal nurse consulting, and that's fine. But if you're not satisfied, if you're not fulfilled where you are, you got to change something to be in a different spot a year from now. So those circumstances beyond our control happen to all of us. And the first thing we can control are our thoughts. We can control the thoughts we tell ourselves, and those thoughts that we feed ourselves, the way we talk to ourselves, the perspective we have on the world around us, those create feelings and emotions inside of us, which lead to our actions. We act based on those emotions and the ways that we feel, which resulted from the thoughts that we feed ourselves. And those actions that we follow ultimately determine the outcome of our lives. And we are today where we are because of the decisions we made yesterday, last year, the last 10 years. And we're going to be a year from now where we will be based on the decisions we make today.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things we talk to so many nurses, and a lot of times what we see or what we hear from people is, there's thoughts that have, you got all this wide variety of thoughts that come, and people have told us, maybe you're in a career that you no longer love, or maybe you want to help people and you're very passionate about that, but you may be feeling like, hey, I'm kind of at this position where I'm stuck and I don't really know what to do. And then, that could lead to feelings of, anger. Maybe you're frustrated. Maybe you just don't, you're not feeling joy, or you've got this discontentment in your life. Then, oftentimes we'll hear like, people are, they're very overworked. They get home from a long shift and they start like lashing out at their family. And, it's kind of not fair to them, because, you're just really, but at the same time, you're just trying to make it through each day. And then the result is, you're totally stressed out. You never get me time, as I like to call it. I never get to relax, and you certainly don't have quality time. And so one of the things that we want to provide is just that clarity, so that you know exactly what path you need to take in order to get to where you want to be. And that's going to provide confidence. And the reason that you're going to have that confidence is because you can trust that, you've got someone that can guide you, and they've got the experience necessary, who's been through it. I think one of the biggest things that we like to talk to people about is, we try to keep people from having to make the same mistakes that we've made over the years. I've made so many mistakes, and it's like, I love it when a mentor or coach can kind of guide me through that and make sure that I'm not having to make those same mistakes. And then what happens is those thoughts actually turn into like, hey, I'm very encouraged. I know I can have more freedom in my life, personally and professionally, while making really good income. And then that's going to lead to empowerment, feelings of confidence, fulfillment, excited, hope, belief, rekindled passion, which also is going to lead to, now your actions are going to start changing, right? Because now you're going to feel like, hey, I've got this proven path that I can rely on. And that's going to lead me to what I eventually will want to have in terms of my vision and where I see my life. And then obviously the results is you are going to have that freedom, and you're going to have that abundance in your life, and you're going to have the financial security. We talk a lot about, a lot of people talk a lot about money, but it's not always just money. It's about the ability to do things that you love, that have, it really doesn't have anything to do with money. Some of the time it's like, hey, just being able to, spend more time with your family, and, be there for holidays, or, people that you love. Like, that's really, really important.
Yeah. And I don't know how many of you resonate with the left side of the screen here, but I know I have, and I know a lot of nurses do. I've felt the frustration of being short-staffed. I have felt absent from life because even on my days off, I was so tired. And I unfortunately have lashed out because I didn't feel like I had anything left to give. And honestly, how amazing, I think, beyond money. Just today, I was talking to someone who just joined Catalyst, and she was talking about that rekindled passion. The way she said it was, I have a spark that I haven't had in a really, really long time. That's worth the price of admission right there. So if you guys are okay with it, I want to walk through what the Catalyst program actually is and what we offer, and maybe how we're a little different from some of the others. So in that circle there in the middle, says fully remote 6 to 7 figure LNC business. This is the goal. This is what we want to get you to if you're ready to take this path. A fully remote, that doesn't mean work from home. That means work from anywhere. You can work from anywhere as a legal nurse consultant. 6 to 7 figure LNC business. Now, I know there are some out there that just are like pushing 7 figure. Look, 7 figure isn't going to come tomorrow, right? That you're going to work toward that. Getting 6 figures actually isn't that difficult as a legal nurse consultant. If you follow the path we have laid out, getting 6 figures is pretty simple. Getting to 7 is going to take you some time. You got to build and scale, which we do teach you to do in the Catalyst program, but we're not going to blow smoke and tell you, hey, join and by next year, you're a millionaire. It's going to take some work to get the 7 figures, but that 6 figure mark, replacing your income that you currently have, comes really quick. But the thing is, people tell us all the time, that's great, Randy, but I don't even know where to start. Like, how do I even start to break into legal nursing? Well, we tell you exactly what to do. We tell you the legal lingo. So if an attorney says, hey, Rob, I've got a case for you. It's a PI case, a UIM with a low ceiling, and the SOL's coming up quick, so I need a fast turnaround. You know what he said, because most of you probably don't have a clue what I just said. So we're going to teach you that legal lingo so you can communicate with attorneys in a way that is going to build trust. We're going to tell you the 4 different ways you can make money as a legal nurse consultant, and we're going to talk to you about doing it yourself versus subbing it out. Doing it yourself is great because I charge $150 an hour for my legal nurse consulting services. $150 is not bad. So if I do all the case reviews, I keep all that money. But the magic happens as a business owner when you get to the point that you have more cases than you can handle when you start subcontracting. Because we run 20, 25 cases a month. We subcontract almost all of our cases. We'll keep 1 or 2 here or there. But if we've got 20 cases going, and we're getting paid $150 and we're paying our subs $50 an hour to do the actual case reviews, that's $100 an hour that we're making for all 20 cases. So it can add up really fast and you can scale really fast to get to that 7 figures if that's what you desire. So this section in Catalyst we call LNC Essentials. Once you get past LNC Essentials, what that does is it gives you the confidence to know you can do this. You have enough knowledge now that you understand, you know what, I can be a successful legal nurse consultant. But here's the thing, Randy, I still don't know how to write a strong case review. I'm not sure what it should look like. There's so much conflicting information out there. So we're going to show you exactly how to create outstanding case reviews. That includes chronologies, reports. We show you a number of different types of reports as well, which is unique in the field. And we help you understand how to do this, not just by telling you information, but you actually do it. So you get 3 practice cases, and you don't just get 3 practice cases. Each one of those practice cases get 3 reviews from our expert team. And what I mean by a practice case is you actually download real records from a real case that's already closed, that's redacted, and then you write your chronology and a report. When you're about halfway through your chronology, you upload it right there through the Catalyst platform. Me or one of my team is going to review that. And we're going to do a video with your work side by side with the work we turned into the attorney. And we're going to show you everything you need to do different moving forward. You're halfway through your chronology. We send that back to you. You finish your chronology and upload it a second time. Now we're going to review it again side by side with what we turned in, and you can learn from that. Then you write your report, same thing, upload it. We're going to put it side by side with the report we turned in, and you get to learn from that. Then you move on to practice case 2, same process, 3 reviews. Practice case 3, same process, 3 more reviews. By the time you get done with what we call case story crafting, you know that you have a work product that's going to net you repeat business. And Rob mentioned it earlier in passing. But what we teach is not cast your net super wide, reach out to 50,000 attorneys, and hopefully one of them gives you a shot. We teach you how to turn in a work product that is far superior to anything else on the market. And when your attorney sees it, they tell us all the time, I've never seen anything this good. I just had an attorney, now it's been a couple weeks ago, tell us that he used our analysis. His entire case was based on our report. And he thought he was going to walk away with maybe $10K on this case, and it settled for $100,000. All of that was due to the work we did. That's repeat business. You don't need 100 attorneys. You just need 3 to 5 feeding you cases routinely, and you're well into the 6 figures. And you go, okay, that's great, Randy. I have the confidence. I know the lingo. I got that. I know how to write reports, but I'm a nurse. I'm not a business owner. I don't know how to succeed in business. No sweat. We got you. We got a proven, repeatable system we call a business in a box that's going to walk you through everything you need to do to stand up your business. Here's the great news about it. 80% of the work is literally going to be handed to you. You're not going to need to create your templates for your business plan, your marketing strategy, your contracts. All of that is just handed to you. When you come through Catalyst, everything from your chronology and report to your contracts and your marketing strategy, your taxes, your financials, everything is already done. We give you the templates that we literally use at Loveless Legal Nurse Consulting today. And then you just brand it and personalize it to make it your own, which we teach you how to do all that as well. Excuse me. And then Catalyst is also a very supportive community. This has been something that has been very, very pleasing for me. Our community is awesome, and they talk about it all the time, how amazing this community is. And that's because of people who joined. It's because of you guys, not necessarily because of me. But we have a lot of different ways that you can have a community within Catalyst. We've got communities sort of like private Facebook communities, but it's just inside Catalyst, where you can go and talk about all things entrepreneur, where you can go talk about all things subcontracting, all things report and chronology writing. We've got a separate community for each one of the practice cases, so you can go in and ask questions about those. And then we also have one for celebrating your wins and your successes. And then twice a week, you get us on a live group session. The first group session is going to be focused strictly on chronology and report writing. The second group session is going to be focused strictly on entrepreneurship. And you're going to continue to learn from me and Rob and our team how to continue going forward as both a business owner and as a human being. And we call this entire section here the entrepreneurial excellence section of Catalyst. And once you get through this, you've got the confidence to know that you can do this. You've got the skill to create repeat business. And now you've got certainty. And not just certainty to think you might succeed. Most of our clients, if you do what I teach and you stay on top of it, before you ever finish your time in Catalyst, you're already winning. You're already getting cases for yourself. You've already taken multiple subcontract cases, and you're still in your time frame of Catalyst. And we call this entire section here the LNC Business Accelerator Program inside of Catalyst Coaching and Mentoring.
Yeah. So let's do a little recap of what the program includes and what happens here. So when you enroll, you get immediate access to all the in-depth training. So you're going to literally go from like not knowing what's going on to at the end having a great opportunity to be very successful as a legal nurse consultant. As Randy mentioned, there's 2 weekly group mentoring sessions each week. And, I may be biased, but I think just the content within the Business Accelerator calls can be life altering. In fact, we've gotten a lot of people talking about how it's completely changed, how they do things in their life. And so those sessions alone are very, very valuable. And then obviously you get the multiple private Catalyst communities, and we set those up so there's direct relevance to what you're talking about. So if you have questions about a particular practice case, you can literally go in there and ask questions about that and get feedback specific to that. It's not jumbled in with all these other things, but if you just want to talk about business, there's a community for that. Same thing with generally speaking about report writing. And so it's fantastic in that you get support both from the group sessions, you get support in the communities. And then if you want to send something personal that you wouldn't necessarily want everyone else to see, you can send an email to our support. So we want to make sure that you're totally covered in terms of getting the support that you need. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just take a look at what some of the clients are saying about their experience within the Catalyst community. And we actually set this up so on the back end, we have these feedback forms for each of the modules within the program. And we do that for 2 reasons. Number one, we know exactly where you are. So if we're finding that you're stuck in a certain way, we're going to reach out to you because we can see hey, when you've logged in, and we want to make sure that, everything's going well and progressing. And if there's stuff that's happening in your life, we want to know about it and be able to support you. So let's just take a look at one of them right here. It says, I have been very nervous about this entire thing, thinking that I would be overwhelmed. However, this is easing my nerves that it isn't going to be as difficult as I thought. The reason that person said that is because everything's laid out perfectly for you.
I love that. And this one, you can read these. Of course, we're not going to read them all, but the one I want to highlight is down in the bottom right. I love that they said none of this is in my wheelhouse, because none of it is in our wheelhouse, right? That's why we're here. And it will be in your wheelhouse as you move through the program.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to go through two more here. The one that we're going to highlight here is, I like how Randy keeps these lessons very concise, no fluff, just create content. We're not putting in all these videos just for the sake of having videos in there. We're wanting it to be very efficient, very concise, and Randy does a fantastic job of that.
Yeah, we teach you what you need to know to win.
Yep.
And then this one on the bottom right again, my new favorite quote: you will always find a way to fail if you're always seeing failure. Apparently I said that at some point and it stuck with someone. So let's get to the one of the really important things here. Everybody wants to know, how much can I really make as a legal nurse? What I can tell you is what I charge. I charge $150 an hour. So what you can make is going to be variable depending on the work you put in and if you follow the program or not. But you're making $150 an hour. That's what I charge, at least. And if the average case yields $2,500, one case a week, you're hitting $10,000 a month. Now, if you're astute out there, you're going, yeah, Randy, that's revenue, but what about what I bring home? Well, one thing about legal nurse consulting is that there's very high profit margins. Now, if you don't understand what profit margin is, that's okay. Think of it like you get a pile of money, $10,000 that you made, and then expenses eat from that, right? You had to pay for a bunch of things. Well, in most businesses, if you bring home 10% of your revenue, you're doing really well. It's flipped. In legal nurse consulting, before I started subcontracting, I actually brought home 90% of what my revenue was. Even after subcontracting, when you're scaling, of course, your expenses go up because you're paying your subs. I'm still 80% plus on what we're actually bringing home in profit. So you can make a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely. So no, this is something that we wanted to add in here because we're hearing so many different things from different people when we were talking to people on our sales calls and just in general. And that's like, how much are other people charging out there? So we've heard these numbers both from our existing clients and those people who've been looking into legal nurse consulting. So one of them was like $15,000. Another one was $17,000. Another group is charging $25,000. And like I said, there's some of our clients that have spent upwards of $35,000 seeking proper LNC training education elsewhere. And this is, to us, when we hear this, and it's not that they're just spending the $15,000, 17 or 35,000. It's that they've spent that and then they haven't got the result that they wanted.
Right. I mean, it would have probably been worth it if they could have turned their life around and created a legacy for themselves and changed their future. But they're coming to us after spending this, and they still have no idea how to go out there and actually win and make money as a legal nurse consultant, which honestly just breaks our heart. And these are real numbers that programs I could name right now are charging. So what is it for Catalyst? Here's our goal. We wanted to create a program that was head and shoulders above anything out there, where you get a whole team of people teaching you, including me and Rob. And we wanted it to be the best thing to get you into becoming a successful legal nurse consultant. But we didn't want to charge the most to do that. Our goal is to give you the best thing you can buy for a lot less money than the other guys are charging. So you get access to Business Accelerator, full 12 months. And that Business Accelerator is everything I described before. And it's not $35,000, thank goodness. It's not 25. It's not even 17 or 15K to get into Catalyst. If you pay in full, it's only 10K. It's only $10,200 if you pay in full. Now, some people can't pay in full, and we get that. They need payment options. We have payment options where we basically finance it for you free of charge with no penalties, no fees, no interest, and your payments equal $12K.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that we wanted to do today is, as an added bonus and as a thank you for joining this webinar, was we wanted to give an additional 2 months of access completely free. Now, obviously, there's some condition around that, and the condition is the 2 free months are available if you book a call today. That doesn't mean you have to have a call today. Doesn't mean you have to enroll today. It just means that you need to book the call today, and then you can join us after today. But if you do that, like if you book, maybe tomorrow, you save the link and you book tomorrow, then it'll just revert back to that standard 12 months. And then obviously the very last thing is we want to make sure that, you feel very confident and comfortable in the decision that you're going to make, because this is a decision that can literally have the potential to change your life. And it's not just about money. It's about the lifestyle. And that's really important to us. So whatever you decide, we want you to, make decisions that are going to change your life. We don't want you to stay stuck in doing the same thing.
Absolutely. So what happens next, guys? This is the end of this presentation. If it's time, right? If you're tired of being where you are and you want to be somewhere different, and you feel like Catalyst is the pathway that can get you to your goals, book a call. Rob is going to put a link in the chat. All you have to do, it's going to go to all of the different places that we are watching right now. There's going to be a link that's going to pop up in the comments and the chat. Click that link. By clicking the link, you're not joining Catalyst, okay? You're booking a call. Talk with us. If this is a pathway that can change your life, don't let fear stop you. Click that link and book a call.
Yeah.
Once you book that, go ahead, Rob.
I was just going to say that Katie was generous enough to put that in for me, and Christine has already got a booked call. So awesome, Christina. Look forward to talking to you. Once
you book a call, if you will just private message Rob, so just select his name instead of sending it to everyone with the word booked. So that's all you got to do. Select Rob Doxey and send him the word booked. And the reason we're asking you to do that is so that we can be sure everything went fine with the Calendly, with the scheduled appointment. Make sure that you're not going to fall through any cracks. We don't anticipate that happening, but this helps us to make sure to follow up on our end to make sure you get that call. Once you get on the call, you'll make your payment. You can ask any questions you might have on the call. Of course, you can't ask questions here. So we want you to be able to feel really comfortable and confident moving forward. So you can ask any questions you have. You make your payment. You sign a quick agreement through DocuSign. Within a few minutes of making payment, you get a welcome email. In that welcome email, you'll click a link. We'll stay on the call with you, make sure it comes. Sometimes it ends up in spam or something. You click that link. You create your username and password, and you've got instant access to everything in the Catalyst Learning platform. Something we didn't mention too is that all of our group session calls are recorded. So as soon as you get in there, you join tonight, you go in and you start poking around. You also don't have to go in a linear fashion. You don't have to do LNC Essentials and then case story crafting and then entrepreneurial excellence. If you're like, I want to see how this guy markets, you can go directly to marketing and see everything that I have on exactly how to market. You can also go and watch the previous sessions from Business Accelerator and or our Subpreneur, which is where we talk about case report writing. So you have instant access to all of that within about 3 minutes of making your payment.
Yeah. One thing I want to mention too is that before we get to questions is just if there's a money concern, book a call. We have a lot of different options available, and we don't want that to be the main reason that you decide not to do it. So
yeah, I agree with that, Rob. If you guys feel like, here's the thing: if you think legal nurse consulting could be a pathway to help you change your life and truly reach the freedom that you deserve. Second, you think Catalyst is a pathway that can get you there. If you're confident about those two things, book a call. Let's talk about the money. Let's figure out the money. We'll work with you, try to get it done. Don't let money be the reason that your future doesn't change. If you think this is a pathway that can get you to your goals, book the call.
Awesome. What questions, if it's okay, Katie, we want to just open this up for questions. I know we're just a little bit over. Want to make
Yeah,
sure that
absolutely. And I mean, this has been such an amazing presentation, and I'm like ready to book a call myself.
awesome.
But yeah, and that's what I loved about like working with you guys, and learning about your system, and learning about what you do. And it's just there's just LNC is one of those areas that I've kind of stayed away from because I never really found a group that could help the nurses to achieve the results that you've been able to help other nurses to achieve. So I'm really proud to be able to share you guys with our group.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We really appreciate it. What questions just type in any questions that you might have in the comments. We'd be happy to answer any question that you have.
There seemed like there was a slight delay on the load for some reason. I can't believe nobody has any questions. I mean, it was a good presentation, but there we go. Oh, well, Christina just said it's good information.
Awesome. Yeah, Christina. Appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely, Christina. Jump in the program, get in there, start working toward your future. And then we actually have a referral program once you're a member of Catalyst. So we would love for you to refer other people. And to be honest, the reason to change more lives, man. Nurses are grinding constantly, day in and day out, and we deserve so much more.
Absolutely. And then if someone, for whatever reason, if there's issues in terms of like not having availability, obviously we have 4 days out that you can schedule on the calendar. And if there aren't times there, you can always send an email to support@catalystcoachingandmentoring.com. Maybe I'll put that in there for you, Katie, and you can put it in there.
Okay.
I want to make sure that they have the opportunity as well. What questions do we have here? Must have done a bang up job, huh? There's no questions.
I know, right? Yeah, throw them at us, guys. We're happy to answer anything.
They like answering all the case study questions.
Yeah, you guys were great, and I hope to see a lot of you joining us, and let's walk the path to your future together, because that's truly what we're doing in Catalyst. You're not alone. Good question, Alex. Yeah, but you're not alone. You're doing it with other people who are like-minded and walking the same path with you, as well as being led by people who have been there and done that. And like Rob said, made the mistakes and know how to guide you in that. What's the time frame to finish the program? So typically, to break it down, LNC Essentials, most people can get through that in a few weeks, 2 to 4 weeks. Some people get through it in a week. It really depends on how quickly you're moving through the program. The case story crafting, that's where you're going to be writing the chronologies and reports. And your first chronology and report is usually slow. Usually take 3 or 4 times longer than you will later to write that first chronology and report. And then it speeds up on the second, and then you're rocking it with the third. Most of the time, people can get through that section within 2 to 5 months. And then the entrepreneurial excellence, that one's going to take a few months, because as you're going through it, you're executing the things you're learning. So I teach you how to stand up an LLC. You go stand up your LLC, how to brand and find a logo. You go and do that. How to create a business plan. You start your business plan. How to market. You start marketing, locating attorneys. So as you're learning things, you're actually doing them, and you're literally standing up your business as you're going through entrepreneurial excellence. So that's going to take you usually a few months. All told, most people can get through everything within about 9 months, which is great. If you're working at it, you can get through it in 9 months, because then by the time you get to your 14 months, if you book a call today, you've got 14 months, not just 12, and you are already succeeding as a legal nurse. You're out there marketing, you're actually getting cases. And not only is that amazing for you, that's amazing for everybody else in the community to watch you succeed, to see that it can be done, to discuss challenges and overcoming these obstacles that you've had to overcome. There are going to be people working on practice case 1 who are going to be inspired by you because you're going out there and actually doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you also, one of the things that we'll mention too is a lot of people are subcontracting before they even finish, entrepreneurial excellence, which is the business side of it. And so it's not like you can't make money before then. You can absolutely start doing, once you've got your practice cases done, you've got work product that's real that you can use, because that's one of the questions that attorneys ask first is like, hey, can I see your work product? And you've got it. Once you've got those practice cases done, you've got real work product that you can send.
Yep. Yeah. Most of our clients will start subcontracting as soon as they get done with their third practice case. A lot of times Loveless LNC uses them as a sub. There are other business owners that are running their business and very successful in their LNC business, and they'll use our catalyst people coming out of their third practice case as subcontractors. And then you're able to make subcontractors, you're going to make somewhere between, on the low end, 30, 35 bucks an hour, on the high end, about 60 bucks an hour. So you're making 50, 60 bucks an hour while you're standing up your business, while you're marketing and getting your own clients that you're going to charge 150 bucks an hour for. So that's usually when people start pulling back from work. Abigail, you said, is it workable to do LNC part-time? It totally is. Now, can you run an LNC business and do it part-time? Probably not. Just reality. And again, I'm not here to lie to you or tell you whatever you need to hear so you join. That's not my focus. My focus is to make sure you're successful. You can absolutely be a part-time subcontractor, though. You can keep your full-time job, take a case here and there, take maybe 2 cases at a time, but then you're going to be swamped. But if you take a case here and there as a sub, absolutely. You can keep your full-time job, your part-time job, and do it on the side. To be a full-time LNC business owner, it's full-time. Like, to truly succeed as a business owner, there's a lot of moving parts, and you have to be focused on your business in order to be successful as an entrepreneur. Absolutely. But I mean, hey, if you can make 50, 60 bucks an hour working in your pajamas from home, being a sub, it's a heck of a lot better than going and picking up an extra shift in an understaffed hospital.
Yeah, the trauma center. Yeah, that's what I used to do. It's horrible.
You're welcome, Abigail.
What other questions do we have?
Alex wrote a follow-up. It just says, how long does it typically take to land your first case independently?
Oh, good question. So I'll tell you 2 stories because, again, what I actually hate gimmicky stuff. Maybe I'm a horrible salesman because it doesn't matter to me if you buy into Catalyst. I want you to buy into your future, whatever that means for you. So I'm not going to blow smoke. I'll tell you stories. I've got 2 people right now. One's named Nicole, and Nicole has finished going through entrepreneurial excellence. She's marketing. It took her about 5 or 6 weeks, I think, to get her first real case. Now, she was subbing on the side as she was standing up her business and marketing. After about 5 or 6 weeks, she got her first real case, charging 150 bucks an hour. Within the next 4 months, the girl got 25 cases.
Yeah.
That's a real story from Nicole, who's in our program now. Another story, Jane. Jane has only been marketing for about 6 weeks now, 45 days, and she's already got 6 cases. So I'm not gonna tell you this is you're guaranteed, or make some sort of claim that I can't back up, but I can tell you what our clients are doing today. And this is today. This is not like a year ago. This is literally Jane and Nicole working today. They're in our group sessions and they're winning right now.
Absolutely. Do we have any other questions?
Well, you can always ask more questions in any of the social media, and we'll follow up. We'll keep track of them. But the better thing to do would be to book a call with Randy and Rob to, ask whatever other burning questions that you have. But yeah, this was amazing, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katie.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for attending. Do you guys have any last thoughts, last words?
Loyola said, any stories about clients who didn't succeed and why? Yes, I do. And it's a short story. If you don't show up, you're not going to win. I can pave it in gold for you, but if you're not willing to walk the path, you're not going to win as an LNC. And it doesn't matter. You can pay $100,000 and get a billionaire to teach you, but if you don't listen and execute what they teach, you're not going to win. So have I had people who paid the money, got in Catalyst, and no matter how much I begged them, they wouldn't show up and they wouldn't do the work? I have. I don't understand why, but if you don't do the work, yes, you don't win.
Right.
But if you
don't
do the
learn
work
by
and you follow the path,
osmosis.
if you do the work and you follow the path, I literally cannot name a person right now. I don't think there's been anyone who has done what we taught and didn't succeed as a legal nurse consultant.
But I think you guys go above and beyond because you like, not that you hunt people down to find out what's going on, but you do check in and, you notice that they're not logging in. And, if somebody's not logging in, not taking the course, not going through the materials, then, and they're not responding to your messaging. I mean, there's only so much you can do.
That's
Yeah.
right.
We actually, we find it to be really true that those even that show up to the live calls, the group sessions, they tend to be a lot more successful, and it's because they're really engaged, right? They're learning and they're taking action, right? They're going out there and they're implementing everything that they're learning. There can be like Randy said, there can be the literally best training in the entire world, but if you're not willing to show up and do it, and actually watch the training and then implement, and it really doesn't matter.
Right. Or get your case studies done. Like there's going to be work that has to be done, but I mean, what's on the other side of it is just like amazing.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, guys.
Any other last minute thoughts? Last minute questions?
I gotta go get dinner. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming today. Make sure you book your call, and you can talk to Randy and Rob and ask all the questions you want, and make sure this is the right program for you.
Thanks,
guys.
See ya.